Today is 21st, 2023. Okay. SOQL in Salesforce. So the question arises, why SOQL? Okay, why SOQL? So SOQL is used to fetch the data, fetch, or you can say that get data from Salesforce. Okay, the use of SOQL is just to only one thing, to get the data from the Salesforce. Apart from that, we don't have to take any. We don't need to work on the SOQL. Okay, so SOQL is just to use the fetch the data from the Salesforce. Why we are fetching the data? To display on the LWC component. Okay, that is the first use case. Second use case is to update the existing records. Okay, that is the second use case. Yeah, to update the existing records, or we can say that to create new records on the basis of the records. Okay, to create new records on the basis of existing records, or we can say that to make compare with the existing record. Okay, to compare with the existing records, or to generate reports. Okay, on the basis of the okay, these are the few use cases why we need the SOQL. Okay, why there is a need of SOQL. That for that, these are the few use cases. Either we need to display the values on the LWC component, or we have to update the existing records, or we have to create new record on the basis of existing records, or we need to compare with the record with the existing records, or we need to design some reports on the basis of existing records. So ultimately, the conclusion of the story is that whenever we need to work on the existing records, then we have to take help of the SOQLs. Means any kind of a stuff, any kind of activity, any kind of anything if we have to do on the existing records without a SOQL, it's not possible. So that is the reason that why SOQL is needed. So SOQL is just a language that will help you to fetch the records from the Salesforce. So in order to write an SOQL, in order to means how we can use the SOQL. So in order to write an SOQL, there is a tab called Query Editor. Okay, On the developer console, there is a tab called Query Editor. This Query Editor help you to extract the data, or in other words, we can say that this Query Editor help you to write the SOQL inside the Salesforce. You can write the SOQL here to extract the data. Like now, the question arises that how we can write SOQL. That is the main thing, that how we can write SOQL. So in order to write SOQL, it's a very straightforward syntax. It's not a very complex one, not a very issue in that. Means you can directly write it. So syntax. Okay, syntax of SOQL. We have to first is select. First, we need to write select, then field names. Okay, field names. Where is the number? Okay, and move it a little bit. Okay. First, we need to write select. Second, we need to write field names. Third, we need to write from. Fourth, S object name. I'm using the word S object because it is a Salesforce object that can be standard or custom. Thereafter, we have to write where. It is an optional star where condition. Okay, that is an option. That's why I put a star on that. After that, we can use order by. I can also put a start because order by we can use, we cannot use. It's up to us. Up to us. And the last one is the limit. Okay, limit. Let's suppose the limit 100, limit 200 means how many record we not. These three statement I put a start because it's an optional. We can use it, we cannot use it. It's up to us. But as a best practices, we need to use, means you have to use these three also. But it does not mention that we have to strictly use it. But for the best practices, use these three conditions too. Means use the where clause, use the order by clause, use the limit clause. Okay, these three are known as a clauses, so we need to use. So basically, these 7 elements are present inside the SOQL. That's it. It's not a very much complex. It's not a rocket science. It's nothing. It's just include these 7 elements in order to write a SOQL. So let's write a SOQL. So first we need to write select. So I come up here in the query editor. First I write select, and then the second step is to add field names. Field names means what field we need to extract. Let's suppose that I need to extract name, email, okay, or phone. So I write comma separated field names. So let's put a mark here, comma separated. Okay, comma separated field names. Comma separated field names. Then I need to put from. Let's put from. After that, I need to put a subject name where you want to extract. So I will take contacts. Okay. After that, we need to take where, order by, limit. These are the optional. So right now I'm not using it. Next time I will use it. So once we're done with the writing SOQL, click on execute. So as you can see that once I hit the execute, I get all the contacts, name, email, and phone, from the contact object. Okay. If I want some other details, So I will write just comma and email, phone, mailing, city, mailing city, execute. I execute again. I got the city too. So this is how we write a very basic SOQL to get the data from the Salesforce. Basic SOQL, select field name from object name. Very basic SOQL. But generally in the real world, this basic SOQL will not work. We need to add the where clause, order by clause, or limit clause. These three clauses we need to add. So if in this simple SOQL, if I want to take the use of limit clause, I can use it limit 10. So what it will do, it will give me only 10 records. Okay, it will give me only 10 records. And if I remove it, it will give me all records. Okay, all records I'm seeing. But if I use the limit clause, it will give me the limited number of records, means what record limited over there. So that is the purpose of the limit clause. And the purpose of the where clause is where. Now I need to write condition like email. Yeah, email is not equals to null. Okay, email is not equals to null means that email is not empty. It means that email must have some value. Now if I execute it, now it will give me 27 records, and these all 27 records must have the email. There is none of the record, because if you look at here, this one, all records. In case of all records, we have some emails. Some emails are present. Some records are coming up who don't have any email. Don't have email. They again come. But when I put a where email is not equal to null, at that moment, it will extract those records where email is not equal to null. Means if it is an empty email, it will not pop up. Order by clause is used to order the records. Like if you look at here, it's showing that unordered way. So I can also use the order by, let's say, name. Okay, and I hit the execute. So it will automatically, it automatically gets sorted. First A, B, E, J, L, and P, S. It's got ordered. So ordered by clause is used to get the records in an ordered way. That's it. Nothing more. It's not some rocket science over here. It's a very straightforward thing. Select, then field name from object name. Then we can use the where clause, order by clause, and last one limit 5. So it will give me only 5 records.
Suraj, I have a question.
Hmm.
In SOQL, is there any nested queries?
Yes.
There are. And maybe like union and stuff like that.
No, not union. Only nested.
Oh, okay.
Salesforce supports only nested queries, no other query.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, no join, no union, nothing. Because it's much simpler than the other Oracle or SOQL language. Sorry, SQL language. SQL language. So it is much easier than other languages. This SOQL have also power to get the parents information. Like I'm writing SOQL on the contact. I can also get the parent information like account dot name. I can see account name. Account dot name can start saying the account name. Suppose I need to see the account phone. So account dot phone. I will start saying account phone. Okay. So it is also a power to extract the parent information too from the SOQL. Sorry, from the records.
Suresh, I have a question.
Hmm.
So how do, for example, in my understanding, if the internal user looking for the, in my case from my story, internal user looking for the applicants for the job. So that's how we, for internal user, creating a button to search for specific applicants, and we're supposed to tie up this query to the button, right? So how do we do that? Because we're not going to look for the internal user. We're going, I mean, for applicants, for example, we are going to just create the environment for internal users to find all of these details. They're not going to create queries. We're supposed to create the queries and attach to the buttons for search buttons, for example, or search button for names or zip code or stuff like that. Is that correct? Are you going to show us how to do that?
Your question is, I don't know. I'm not able to get the what you exactly want to say.
So internal users are not going to write the queries to try to fetch the data about applicants or leads. They're not
Yes,
going
that's
to do
correct.
that.
Yeah, they are
Yes.
not going to write a SQL query.
Which
Yes,
means
correct.
when we're creating Lightning Web Component and creating a buttons like search for something specific, so that button will be searching, like you said here, for mail, phone, mail, city, account name, all of this. So, so by creating that button, we're supposed to create this query, and how do we, I guess, align them together?
Yes, correct. So yes, on the hitting that button, it will, that Apex will make a SQL query and get the records and then display on the LWC component.
Yes, that's my question. I just wanted to know how you're going to like, how you're going to create a button and create all these queries for specific search button, for example. So right now,
So how we create a button and do the specific query, that we also already discussed in our LWC classes. Because in the LWC we created a button and we make a SQL query, get the records and display on the LWC component. This thing we already discussed.
Okay, so we're just looking deeper. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, and if we need to create a button, we cannot create a button in the Apex class. Okay, we need to create a button in the LWC component.
So in which cases then we're using those SOQL queries, and when we are like in the role of admin and we try to create something or fetch the data?
So when we hit the button, it will call the Apex class, and Apex class do the SQL query.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, it will go in this way.
Okay.
Okay, so if we need to access the parent information, we just need to write parent dot name, parent dot everything. So it will get the parent information. And if we want to get the child information, okay, parent to child. So here we have to write an inner query. Means if we want to get the child information, then we have to write inner SQL query. So and in that case, since account is a parent and contact is a child, then we write a select select ID, comma name from account. That is our basic SQL query. That is basic. That is the basic one. We are getting details from the account. Now in the same SQL query, I will also want to get its contacts. So I will put a comma and then put a bracket, and in that, or we can say parenthesis. In that parenthesis, I will select ID, comma name, comma, let's move the ID. It's optional. Name, comma email from contacts. Okay, here I use the contacts. Okay, and when I write the SQL query, here I use the contact. So in the child queries, or you can say the inner query, in terms of inner query, we use the plural, we use the child relationship name. So that's why here is the contacts. And you can see that it now it's popping up ID, name, and contacts. Here the contacts. So inner query is only designed for the child records. Means when there is a need to extract the child records, at that moment we need to take help of an inner queries. Else there is no need to use the inner query. Whenever we need to fetch the child records, at that moment we will use the inner queries. And if we need to extract the parent record, at that moment we will use the dot operator, account dot name, just like that here. Account dot name, account dot phone. So dot operator is used to access the parent information, and inner queries are used to access the child information. Special case. Dot and the second one is inner query. Okay, inner query is used to get the child record, and that is the special case. Means it is not generally V2. Okay, this is not generally V2. So this is how we can write the SOQL query inside the query editor. Okay, this is how we write the SOQL query inside the query editor. So let's talk about the simplest query that we write. The simplest query that we write is this one, that select ID, comma name from contact. This is the simplest query we write. And once we write and execute it, we saw that we have a 40 records. Okay, 40 records here. And since it is a more than one records, okay, it is a more than one records, means query always are supposed to have more than one record, but some of the cases we get only one record. We are not talk about those cases, because those cases also can handle in the same way, just like that we are handling the more than one records. So here we have a more than one records. So as we discussed from last few days, that whenever we have a more than one record, we need to take help of a list. So now I'm coming to the point that how we can use this SOQL query in the Apex classes. Okay, how we can use this SOQL query inside the Apex classes. So for that, how we can use this SOQL query in the Apex classes. So for that, what we have to do, let's come to here and create a new class. Day 3 SOQL. Okay, I will again do the same thing. Public, design the constructor. Okay, now we need to learn that how we can write the SOQL query inside the Apex class. So for that, we need to take help of a list. Okay, list. We need to take help of a list to perform the SOQL query. Now, how the list will help you? So before, let's suppose that I need to perform the I was performing the SOQL query on the contact. So the list will be declared also as a contact list equals to new list of contact. Okay, let's suppose that means it's only depend on the what we are supposing to do. If you want to suppose that if you need to get the records from the account, then it will be list of account. If you need to get the record from the opportunity, so it will be list of opportunity. So where you want to get the data, from where you want to get data, that object name will be present in the list data type. And after that, what we have to do, we have to just write a simple line. Just copy this one. Copy your SOQL query. Come into the Apex class, put a square bracket and paste your SOQL query. That's it. That's the only thing you have to do. If you do this only thing, your SOQL query is done inside the Apex class. Now this contact list have all the contacts that are coming from this SOQL query. Okay, now the contact list have all the contacts having all the contacts which are coming from this SOQL query. If this SOQL query give you 10 records, then contact list will have the 10 records. If the SOQL query give 100 records, then contact list having the 100 records, 1000 records, 10,000 records. So it will be that. Means based on the number of records that we are getting, or based on the records that we are getting, with the help of a SOQL query, it will directly add it into the list. Okay, it will directly add it into the list. So once we get the existing data, okay, once we get the existing data, after that, it's depend on us that what we need to do. Okay, as I mentioned, once we get the existing data, either we can display that data, or we can update the existing data, or we can create new records, or we make compare, or we generate new records, any other. Okay, it's depend on what we want to do. Okay, it depends on what we want to do. But to get the data from the Apex, for that we just need to write these two lines. Okay, these two lines will help you to get the data from the Salesforce into the Apex class. After getting this data, we need to move forward and perform the update operation. Okay, first perform the update operation. Later on, in later classes, we will perform the LWC1 too. So let's perform the update operation. So we got this contact list, and as I mentioned earlier, that whenever there is a list, there is a loop always. So let's create a loop. and try to update these records. So for now, in terms of for, as you can see that whenever in the previous classes, what we did, let me close the other. Okay, let me close the other one. And previously what we did, whenever we have to write a list, okay, whenever we have to write a list and we are working with the for, in that for, there is a, what we have to do, we have a data type of the list. Okay, we have a data type of the list. Same thing, I copied it from here to the here, not here. SOQL. Oh, I think I closed that without saving. Apex classes. Day 2, day 3 SOQL. I don't know. So as you can see, this is our syntax of, this is our syntax to write loop on a list. So it says that data type of the list. In our case, what is the data type? Anyone tell me that what is the data type of the list? Oh my God, you guys are sleeping.
Contact.
Who replied? Whom?
Yeah.
It's reply.
So here the data type of the list is contact. So we'll put the contact. Alias name is contact obj, and the list name is contact. So this is how we can write a loop on the list on this type of list. And you can see that I just whatever did earlier we are doing earlier, the same thing, only the object data type means data type is changed, because previously we have a string data type. Right now we have a contact type data type. Now it has our information and we have a contact. Now let's debug first. System.debug name. Okay, and I will put contact obj dot name. And let's execute this. Execute anonymous J3 SOQL and execute. And let's put in debug. So once I put in debug, you will see it's showing me all the names. It means that my SOQL is working. My SOQL query is working. I'm getting data into the list and displaying all the names on the list. It's now showing me all names of the from the list. Okay, so it will display all elements or all values from the list, and we can work on that. So in order to update that information, or in order to update those records, let me again put the DMS to verify that we are doing correct or no. So let's suppose that I want to change some values. department. Yes, department is present. If okay, sorry, equal to null. Mean if the department does not have any value, then make department equals IT. Or let's for now let's make only update the department. Don't put any condition. I'm just let's department make IT product and services. Okay, IT product and services. And after that, what I did, I make the update contact OBJ. Save. Okay. After that, what I did, I just make an update contact OBJ and then hit the save. Let's execute. It's an issue with the sum of the record. Invalid email address in this record. Having some data issue. Okay, again I'm executing. Okay, it's done. It's done. Let's check it's updated or no. Let's open any contact. Or instead of opening any, can just add a field over here so that it will give me all department address names. Department. I added the department. Let's move this one. Save. And you can see the department is ID product and services. It's added over. Now let's go back to the developer console and check the logs. So in the logs, again, it's showing me 40 DMLs. Okay. I updated the 40 contacts, so it's showing me the 40 DMLs out of 150. I can make only 150, it's showing me 40 DMLs. It's showing me 40 DMLs because I use the update inside the loop. I use the update only one time. That's correct, because previously in the previous class, as you can see that I use the insert only one time. So it's using the insert one. But in here, as you can see, I use the update once. That's correct. But I use the update inside the for loop. I use the update inside the for loop. So this loop run 40 times, and this 40 times this update is also getting executed. That is the reason that why I'm getting the 40 updates. So again, same concept, what we did earlier. In this concept, we declare a list, add the element inside the list, and insert the list. Similarly, same thing we also do here, that we create a list. Okay, we create a list, contact list to update, just normal, and add the element inside the list. Contact obj, and then update the list. Okay, instead of updating in the loop, what I did, the update the list outside the loop. Let me also, that is the also one of the best practices. So one of the best practices we discussed, means both are the approximately same. So also let's discuss about the best practices. It will along with the other two. Best practices in Apex. First thing is that do not use or do not perform insert or update, and same thing, delete operations inside the loop. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, never perform these type of operations. Okay, never perform these types of operations inside the loop. Okay, never perform these type of operations inside the loop. And collectively, these operations are known as DML statements. Okay, collectively, these type of operations are known as the DML statements. Okay, it's a database term, but that's it. So best practices in Apex, one of the best practices is do not perform insert, update, delete inside the loop. That is the one of the major best practices. Why? Because it will hit the governor limits. We have a 150 limits only, and it will hit the governor limits. Okay, it will hit the governor limits. That is the reason that we have to use the we don't have to use loop inside. Now I will change it IT product instead of services. I will just departments IT product and save it, and let's execute. After execution, I will check the logs. Log says that one DML statement here instead of 40. Now I'm getting one DML statement, and let's check that it's updated or no. So So it got updated. All the department now updated with the IT product, and this is how. So that is how we are using the update. Okay, that is how simply we can use the update inside the Apex class. Okay, update as the object says that it works with on the existing records, and we need to fetch. How we can fetch the existing records? If we have to fetch the existing records, we need to write the SOQL query. Simple. SOQL query, get the existing record, and then perform the update. Depend on the situations. Depend on the different situations, we can perform the updates. Make sense? You will say yes.
Yes.
Why we write the SOQL query?
Said yes, answer now.
No.
There is two types of answer only, yes or no. Who gonna tell me that why we are using SOQL query?
Because it's directly connected to Salesforce.
Get the data from Salesforce to Salesforce, no?
Yeah, to get data from Salesforce. Yes.
Yep.
Not to
Oh my
Salesforce. Powerful.
gosh. Who said yes, they understood? I have to teach everything.
And the passing ball over to you, man. You got it.
Okay. Okay, then let's have a break and we'll come back and study more things, learn more things.
Danke. Danke schön.
Until 8:15,
Yeah,
8:10, 8:15.
yeah. So here we'll study that about how to take help of a list. Okay, how to take help of a list to update the record. Okay, to update the records and perform some activity. That is through the updation of the records. Now that is very simple use case that we generally did. Means whenever we need to do something like that, and we just write SOQL query, add that SOQL query in the list and perform whatever we need to do. Okay, and update the records. We can also delete the records. Just write delete over up here, and the record got deleted. Nothing more in the deletion of the records. Now let's think about that. Right now we are working only with the one object at a time. Okay, here we are working with the one object at a time. Let's suppose that I need to work with the multiple objects, meaning I need to write queries on the multiple objects and then work with those. Here we just take a help of a one object, and one object means just start working on the contact. We query the contact and update the contact list. Okay, that's a very straightforward requirement.
So
Yes,
Raj,
Sumit?
I have a question. So in this, are the codes that are reusable? Like, do they have existing codes that we can make changes to it and run it? Or we have to write it everything over and over from the beginning again and again?
Come again, I didn't get you.
Like, will those codes be stored somewhere in the project at the companies?
These codes, yes, correct.